Hey, how we doing today, guys? Today I have here a Space Marine that I'm going to be painting in an Ultramarine's color scheme. So, I've been painting Warhammer like 10 years, but I've never actually painted an Ultramarine. And I've got this really nice blue, it's called Dark Ultramarine, from Scale Color Artist set. It looks purple, but it's actually kind of like a dark blue. I'm going to kind of try it. Let me see here. So it's more dark blue than purple. So I've got the Space Marine that I have primed, and then I've done a Zenithal highlight on him. So I'm definitely gonna see how the thing comes out. I'm gonna start by airbrushing it. Just got him right here. Let's see here. Let's see how this comes out. Test it on my hand. See, get it more focus for you guys, so you can see it better. There we go. Alright, let's see how it goes out in the armor. I Alright, I really do like that blue, the way it's coming out. Oh yeah. I actually don't look too bad. Very vibrant, especially across the white. Sorry, the compressor kicked in. It's kind of loud here. But yeah, the Zenithal definitely gets that nice shadows in. So I actually picked this guy up from a Warhammer store in Scotland, and it was one of those like kind of try build it yourself minis. I was like, oh, yeah. All right. It's not looking too bad. I'll do a couple more coats on him. Get him pretty even coverage. Thing about these scale color paints that I have noticed is sometimes you do have to do multiple coats. The coverage isn't that good. So let's see if I can get it right here. I seem to cover over the white pretty nice, so it's just the black parts it's looking like. I do like the actual color. And it's still keeping the shadows nice. That Zenithal. Be more aggressive with the airbrush now. There we go. It actually might work out with the coverage not being so good with the Zenithal. It's actually not looking bad. The blue does make it pop. I mean, it's the blue and gold for the Ultramarine. It's a cool color scheme. I've just felt like, for me, there's, you know, cooler chapters to paint. I mean, the Ultramarines aren't boring, but, they're the poster child. Alrighty. It's not bad. I mean, I can go ahead and, touch it up with a brush, but right now it's not looking bad at all. I really enjoy it. Continuously blasting it. This will be a quick color scheme. I'm not too worried about, it being perfect. Just want it to look decent. There we go. Cool, quick color scheme for it. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Maybe the light's getting away, but it's still light on the shoulder pads where it's been the Xenophiles hit it. Still really pops. Looks pretty smooth. The Xenophile's coming out really good. Nice and clean. I'm gonna try and put the gold trim on it. Let's see here. So I do use a wet palette. I'm also going to be using this Retributor Armour from Citadel. I think it's a great gold. I use it a lot. Use it a lot and everything. And I'm just going to kind of go ahead and try to get this on. I do like this blue. It really pops. Let's see here. Put it on. So I got in painting. Well, I got into Warhammer when I was younger. Playing the Dawn of War game. I know a lot of people did too. Um, kind of that's how I got introduced to 40K. It's a strategy game at a time. It was like one of my favorites. I bought the game after I played it like one time. I was big into strategy games back then, but I like the grim dark, the more adult themes off it. And you know, after like I played it for a while before like realizing they actually had miniatures for the game, and I kind of looked into that. And I was more into the collecting side, you know, of the game, and kind of painted it on and off for like 10 years, but I feel like I've got into painting more seriously over the last 2 years. Um, you know, uh, I've painted other stuff besides Warhammer too, but mostly Warhammer just because I like the lore. Um, I've got Age of Sigmar stuff. You know, I honestly think Games Workshop, you know, I believe their Age of Sigmar miniatures are better miniatures, but I'm not too interested in the lore from it. Like, I follow the lore from Age of Sigmar, but, you know, it's not as cool as the 40K lore. Like, I don't get into it too much. I mean, of course, I've got some, I collect some Space Marines, but I've got a lot of different painted stuff. I've got like probably like 30 different Space Marines painted, but they're in the Blood Ravens chapter. I'm more of a Chaos Space Marine person. I just think they're more interesting characters. So this trim is very finicky. I always hate painting trim. I think everybody hates painting trim, honestly. It's just, you gotta be real careful. I'm using a size 0 brush here. I feel like the hardest part on a trim, honestly, I mean, trim's hard to get the details on itself, but the edges of the trim where the gold meets the blue or any other color you're painting, like I always like overstep that. It's like painting between the lines, but I think I'm doing a decent job right now on it. Just being extra careful, you know. I mean, Space Marine's a cool no matter the chapter, you know. Everybody's been kind of getting into the Ultramarine since you know, Space Marine 2, you know, and Titus, and you know, I've played a little bit of Space Marine 1, but of course I played Space Marine 2. There we go, very light detail on that, getting the edges. There we go. Alright, it's looking good on the trim. Actually, I might have to look this up. I actually don't know, you know, I know it's blue and then gold. I don't know if the pauldrons are blue too. I can't remember. You know, this is a really quick paint job, honestly, of the airbrush. You know, I'm not trying to make it look like really good. I'm not trying to get into it too deep. But I don't even know if I'll touch up the blue since it's not too bad if I want a quick... If you wanted a bunch of these Ultramarines on the table real quick. You know, I haven't played a lot of Warhammer. Played... I play games here and there. But I mostly like, you know, the miniatures and the lore and all that. The audio books I've been listening to recently, I have been really into the Night Lords. I just got into the Night Lords trilogy on the audiobook, and I'm nearly done with the first one, Soul Hunter. And everybody says it's good, you know, and I've been hearing it. I just never, I don't know, it's just like one of those things like, yeah, you know, I'll get around to it, I'll get around to it. But yeah, I finally got around to it, and they are really, really good. No kidding. And they're written so well that you can, even listening to them, you know, it's easy to listen to, and very easy to keep it in your head while painting. You know, you gotta have something to put on in the background while painting. You know, I feel like you're a psychopath if you don't. You know, it's just something to keep your mind occupied a little bit. So, you know, sometimes painting can get tedious. Let's see here. Yeah. I've been using this gold, the Retributor Armour for Games Workshop for years. But I know Vallejo are coming out with their True Metallic line at the end of this year, or is it the beginning of next? I think it's the end of this year. And they have some, it's pretty much every kind of metallic color you can think of. And I was like, man, I kind of want to try it out. But I don't want to get the whole set I don't have that kind of money. But I'd like to pick up the silvers, gold, bronze, maybe copper, because it's like a range. Like you get 3 colors, you know, you get the wash with them, you know, the highlights. Let's go. The gold really pops with that blue, you know. And the crazy thing about, you know, paint jobs too is like I feel like they look way better in person than, you know, they do in real life. Oh, on camera, I mean. You know, camera picks up all the details that you missed with your eye or not paying attention. But I think I can get the trim done here, and you know, cleaned up. You see, you know, I overspilled a little bit on the gold here onto that blue, but I can just repaint that. You know, it's gonna be a quick paint job too, you know, like wash one, maybe two highlights on it. I'm not looking to go all out on him. But you know, I recently started trying to try my hand at non-metallic metal, and let me tell you, it's kind of difficult, and it does look like garbage for most of the time you're painting, and then that last 10% it finally comes together. And I tried to paint. I think non-metallic silver and iron is a lot easier than non-metallic gold. I tried to paint some non-metallic gold, and uh, one of the times I did it was alright, but the other time I was like, man, I'm like, it does not look good. I'm like, you know what? Surprisingly, I think I did pretty good painting non-metallic copper, like that reddish kind of color. Like I added a brown and I just kept adding red to it for the highlights, and then it looked pretty realistic. It's all about the light placement, and you know, I have no experience with light placement before, so I kind of just winged it. I'm like, I'm sure the light reflects off this, sure. You know, just like with anything, it, it's everything's a skill, right? You're not gonna be good at it right off the bat, and you know, over time, you get better at things, and you learn, and become more proficient at it. And I think, you know, this non-metallic metal is one of those things I'm just gonna have to practice at. It's just scary and daunting because you put so much work into something, and then you don't think it looks good, and you're like, gosh, just wasting my time painting non-metallic metal. I should have just slapped some metallic paint on it and called it good. But then a paint job is done just whenever you say it's done, whenever you feel like it. Let's see here. Try the other shoulder pad. I really love this blue. If I was gonna paint another ultramarine, it would be in this blue. I do like it. Um, Definitely got a nice vibrancy to it, especially with the white Xenophil coat on top of it. And maybe be more careful with my airbrush next time. There's a little spray, but nothing that can't be fixed. Let's see. But yeah, I've got you know, hundreds of minis I've painted. Not too many Space Marines. I got a lot of Necrons. My first like proper mini I painted was a Necron. First of all, I thought they were really cool. I saw them in a video game, you know, the Dawn of War game, but also because they're easy to paint. You know, silver, wash, pick out the green, and that's pretty much it. If you want a decent Necron, right? It's really easy. And built up collection of those. I painted them with a red glow. Eventually, I repainted my old ones, and of course, I continue my collection. Now I got like 60 Necron Warriors at least, I think. Because Necron Warriors come in everything. And so they showed off a new Nightbringer, and yeah, that miniature looks pretty odd. I got the old Nightbringer. The old, not the metal. It got it in the resin, the fine cast, and the fine cast is terrible. And that miniature breaks all the time, and it's just been sitting on my shelf forever. But the new Nightbringer looks definitely gonna pick it up and paint it. It'd probably be an easier paint job too, looking at the miniature. But Let's see, touch this up a little bit more gold. And then I think that's, I think the trim is just that gold and, right, the shoulder pads and the chest plate. I think that's all the trim, of the Ultramarines, right? I mean, I'll look it up after I get done, but I'm pretty sure that's, that's it. Might be mistaken, but he's definitely vibrant, I'll tell you that. Let's see here. I see. I'm just trying to be real careful on the details here. There we go. Just finishing up. Getting edges. And I'm not, I'm gonna give him a wash. I'm gonna give him that the flesh shade, the Reikland flesh shade wash for the gold. I either do this Retributor Armour in either the gold or the flesh shade, depending if I want the gold to be more dingy or more like a rose gold. I think like the Reikland flesh shade, has more of a rose gold appearance when dry. It's, I don't want these ultramarines to be too dingy. I think definitely this ultramarine, he's got a half visor on. I think he's definitely gonna pop more when he's gonna paint his face. And let's see here. I also, when I'm done with a miniature, I also like to put a varnish on it to like kind of bring all the colors together. And I do weirdly prefer the matte varnish. I do like the matte coloration. The matte, not the coloration, but how it brings everything together. And alrighty, just get edges. Don't wanna. Alrighty, so there it is. It'll need a little cleanup, but not bad. But yeah, I'm gonna look up. I think that's all the trim, but I'm gonna look it up real quick. So yeah, after looking it up, it looks like it's just the shoulders and the chest plate with the gold that kind of have that golden trim. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna put that flesh shade, um, on top of the trim, and make it look more like a rose gold, but hit those recesses. I don't know if the shoulder plate, shoulder plates, shoulder guards. What is it? The shoulders need them, but I'm gonna give them a little wash anyway. Make it real pop. Shades are so good for making something look really good tabletop ready, right? It's like just you should pop it on here, real nice. Look at that, pops already. Proper gold. Already looks great. Make sure it doesn't pool in any areas. Get it in there. Already looks good. Look at that. Way better already. Shoulder pads. Well, if you have a recommendation on what you want me to paint, any chapter or Space Marine or any kind of Warhammer miniature, let me know. I've got a backlog of things, so I probably have whatever you want me to paint, Space Marine or otherwise. Just let me know. I'm always looking to experiment with new things and try my hand at painting. I've been painting these Night Lords recently too, and yeah, Night Lords are so cool. I mean, I think Chaos Space Marines are the coolest. Yeah, they have so much variety, so many different chapters. And let's see, paint this right here. Alrighty, he's just the blue and the honestly, a tabletop, and the blue's already kind of highlighted from that Xenophil, you know, and the gold just with that wash, it's not bad. You could do that, put on a tabletop already. I mean, you still need to get the other details, but the blue and the gold's pretty easy. I can paint this guy up pretty quick to a decent standard. Oh yeah, look at that. Already looks good. There we go. Way better. Already looks fantastic. I'm gonna, you know, kind of move on to the metal and, the metallics, the iron, silver, whatever I decide to paint him. And then the face, maybe tidy up the blue, but I'm not sure yet. But, for this video, it's a quick, 25, 30 minutes of getting a Space Marine, up to tabletop standard. And, yeah, thanks for watching and hanging out with me.